Good afternoon, South Africa, and a very warm welcome to you. My name is Jeannie D. This is Afternoon Express. I hope you're having a top Tuesday. We have got so much lined up for you today, so I'm going to make this quick. We have two top ladies of entertainment in our loft today. The amazing Dineo Moeketsi, who's got a brand new film out called Mrs. Right Guy, and the brand new presenter on SABC3's Mela, Carishma Basday, are both here. And for Winner Home on Afternoon Express, we have our finance expert here to chat about pros and cons of estate living, and we're looking at a breathtaking home in Pearl Valley by architect Ben Kotlowitz. Now, Danilo, let's roll in the kitchen.
Indeedio, you're looking absolutely amazing, Jeannie. Welcome to the show, South Africa. My name is Danila Maquette. Today, cooking with us in the kitchen, Chiara Turilli is back, and she always makes the most delicious treats ever in the loft. And today on the show, we're making something that really was only perfected in the 17th century. Kind of started in the medieval times, but today we're bringing it to another level of perfection.
Yes. So I've renamed it lemony meringue pie.
Because it's not only just a lemon meringue pie, what's the lemony
Extra
part?
lemon. I want it to be so lemony that your face goes, mwah.
Okay, so just show everyone how sour you are. We get it. All right, fantastic. Go to our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. That's where you can find the recipe and the shopping list for everything we make on Afternoon Express. If you want to make this delicious pie, you guys can make it by finding the website there and obviously getting the shopping list to go and buy all the ingredients for what we make on Afternoon Express. Today, joining us in the loft is one of the most beautiful ladies in our country. She's so talented, she's fun, she's bubbly, and one of the biggest hearts. Dineo Moeketsi is on the couch.
She's easily one of the hottest faces in South African entertainment at the moment. Actress, singer, TV presenter, Dineo Moeketsi does it all. Today she joins us in the loft to talk about her brand new feature film, the long-awaited Mrs. Right Guy. Welcome, Dineo.
Thank you for finally inviting me.
Now, I want to get to your film,
Yeah.
but I first want to get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because you've had quite a colourful life already. So you started off at National School of the Arts. You must have known from a very young age that this was your industry.
This was at 13. I think I discovered that, well, I think I sort of stamped it at 13. We were floating about in the choir and started, you know, doing the vocal competitions at about 12. And at 13, I made a decision after lots of Stevie Wonder and lots of Whitney Houston. I was like, okay, it's a done deal here. Needless to say, I got discouraged by one of my teachers.
Why? What did she say to you?
Ach, Dineo, it has no money, man. These were her words.
Yeah.
Bless her soul. But clearly she was wrong.
Exactly.
So I followed, you know, the usual high school train. And 2 years into another high school, I was like, this is not working for me. I want to be at an art school. I was told about the National School of the Arts.
Exactly.
So went to audition with all the nerves in the world, got accepted, which was the biggest yes for me, because I was like, okay, so that means I actually can do this thing.
But also,
means
you auditioned for music at National School of the Arts.
Yes.
Usually you have to have an instrument for that, but you went solely with your voice.
Solely with my voice.
I mean, that's amazing.
I was just like, okay, let's just go for the jugular. But also at the time, I was experiencing a bit of bullying in the previous high school, so I thought...
Why? What would they bully you about?
My mother. My mother was on radio at the time, so it was the conversation of, you think you're the only one who has a mother. So it was just like, oh, okay, it's about time we leave. And I left, and I found greener pastures and all the excitement.
Wow, and thankfully you were able to overcome that bullying and become somebody who's confident and speaks out for yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then actually, speaking about bullying, you were then bullied more recently where, I mean, speaking about self-love, you lost a lot of weight, and I think in the media, you know, people in the media and fans all had an opinion on it. You look amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
But how did you cope with something like that, being scrutinized and then all of a sudden some randoms having an opinion about your life and your body?
You know, it sort of takes you back to that moment. It takes you back to a point where you're sort of flustered for a few seconds because all these people are giving the wrong attention to something that was progressive in your eyes. You know, you walk around and you're like, okay, this sort of jean that I like is not fitting. This sort of top that I'd like to wear is not fitting. So how about we change a couple of things, make ourselves feel better, make ourselves feel good, because we'd like to do X, Y, Z type of shoot.
Yeah.
So when people were, I was called anorexic, and I was like, oh, the world is a bit ignorant about what anorexia is. And I had to, at first I would lash out. I would, because it was now the opposite. When I was bullied back in high school, I was quiet, I retreated, I went into my shell. As an adult, not afraid to speak out, not afraid to tell someone when they're being rude, when they're being out of place, and all those sorts of things. And I had to take a minute. I really had to take a minute and go, okay, so what are the reasons behind this bullying thing? And I had to dissect it for myself.
Yeah.
So as to leave it as an external thing and never internalize any of the things that were said.
Yeah, it's not about you.
Never.
It's actually somebody else's projection.
Always.
Now, I'm all into self-love and I'm all into getting the best body ever. So what did you do to transform your body?
I went vegan for 9 months.
Woo, that is so hard.
It's very hard.
Discipline.
Extreme sort of discipline, and I don't know what came over me at the time. I mean, a colleague of mine, I said this is what I was doing for 21 days. He dared me 42 days, and I was like, okay. He's like, go for longer. Let's see how long you can go.
Yeah.
And there I was, 9 months in, and I went, okay, so we've done this thing. I'd like some fish. And so we've slowly gotten back into everything else, but yeah. I think I need to go back to the weight I was when I was vegan.
Well, no, there's no pressure for that. But what's important for people to hear, and why I'm so pleased that you were vocal about it, is because it's just about being healthy. It's about looking after yourself. To be overweight is not healthy.
It's always uncomfortable as well. You know, I think a lot of people will sit and say, oh, no, I love myself this way. You can love yourself that way, but still choose to have a very healthy lifestyle.
Exactly.
The likes of frying, the likes of takeout,
Sure.
any sort of food just going into your system, and then you're surprised, because I find, you know, in the Black community particularly, people aren't well informed about certain illnesses. You know, that's why you find the likes of high blood pressure, the likes of diabetes, even obesity is something that, you know, they don't tackle.
Huge in
So I think, you know, there's a lot to be spoken about in terms of having the conversation, not berating anyone and saying, hey, you need to be doing this and this and that.
Exactly.
It's better to engage people, because then in their inclusion, they feel the need to then make the small changes. And it's the small changes that make a difference.
Now, I want to touch on your mom, because she must be so incredibly amazing to have such an astute, confident daughter. Do you think she kind of opened up a few opportunities for you in your mind to say, look, this career, this industry is amazing, this is something that I could do, having seen your mother break through? I mean, she was the first Black woman to have a breakfast show in South Africa.
You know, my mother did not want me in this industry. No, for real. Like, she was, when I told her that I could sing, I had to pitch it to my mother that I could sing. I had to sing on the phone for my mom.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, yeah, you've got a voice. And then as she saw this thing progressing, my mother was quarter to panic attacks all the time. Because she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know, why does this child want to do this? And I was like, I want to. But the one decision I made coming into the industry, I did not want to tell people who my mother was, for fear of that sort of narrative of, oh, you got here because your mom is so-and-so. I didn't want that. I can earn it. You know, to this day, I auditioned for production on the basis of I know how to earn my stripes.
Yeah. However, if you look on the credit lists of a whole lot of movies in Hollywood, chances are somebody's mom and somebody's dad was.
Yeah, you see, that's Hollywood.
Sometimes that's how Hollywood
And I wish
works.
I had a Hollywood hookup right now.
Okay, but you didn't go to Hollywood. You went to New York, in fact, to go and study. That must have been an amazing, amazing opportunity.
It was head and shoulders one of the best experiences of my life, because at NSA you're taught how you're competing with everyone. You know, just in terms of artistic experiences, we're all out to be number one or be recognized for our art. You get to New York, you're competing with most likely 22 million other people who want the exact same thing as you, and that's not the arts entertainment industry, that's just music. You go to the subway and it's, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to speak to you today and for you guys to hear my talent. And you're just like, I'm going to school, I'm on a train to school, and you're here singing, what am I going to do? There's a saxophonist as you're walking out of the basement of the train station. You know, there's corners where people are singing. There's so many pubs and bars and jazz clubs.
And huge talent. It's not that they're karaoke level. They're hugely talented.
It is massive talent out there. So for you to sit and go, listen, I'm here, and I'm doing this thing. One of the best experiences, because, you know, I discovered how good I had become I was always insecure and not sure if I was actually good at NSA. And yes, I passed, I did it. But when I was looking at, you know, having a 4.0 GPA, some of my lecturers being John Coltrane's bassist from the 70s,
Ooh, hello.
it was insane an experience. And at first, yes, it was very scary. Culture shock, cried for 3 months, didn't know what I was doing. It was my first time out of the country.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, make the best of it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But at the same time, it was tough because I didn't necessarily have the funds, and that's why I had to leave ultimately. And
Yeah.
it was painful to leave that when you're doing so well, when you're thriving, when your lecturers love you and you're really getting
that
there.
far away from opportunity.
Yeah.
We're going to be back with you in just a little while. I want to know a lot more about you and, of course, your fantastic music. We'll be back with Dineo after the break to chat more about her brand new film, Mrs. Right Guy. And Danilo is getting citrusy in the kitchen.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. It's about to get super decadent in the loft today. Chiara Turilli is back in the loft and she makes the most delicious treats. And it's we're focusing on finger foods today. We thought we would go with one of the classics when it comes to desserts, a lemon meringue pie. But we're not going any kind of lemon meringue pie. We're really giving it a Chiara twist today.
Yes, so I've renamed it lemony meringue pie because I want it to be super lemony and I wanted to cut the sweetness of the meringue and the crust.
I like the way you think, so let's
Yes.
get started.
Cool, so we start with the crust. We've got tennis biscuits, which you just put, you can roll them, which is very therapeutic, roll it on a board, you know, with a rolling pin.
Yes.
Or just throw it in your food processor, like 2 minutes and it's done.
Okay.
Melt your butter and your vanilla essence.
Okay.
Then what you do is you just pat everything down nicely so that you have a nice shell to work with.
Okay, so you would obviously make that separately together. You just mix all of the oil and
Yes.
the butter, melted butter, etc. together, and you just press it into a pan.
Exactly. One trick about that, always do the sides first.
Okay.
Because I feel like people are always sickly and they're trying to do the middle and then
Yes.
everything breaks. So like do the sides first and then pat the middle and it'll be perfect.
Oh, good idea. So you can distribute it evenly. Nice tip.
Yes.
Thank you. Cool, then what happens next?
So after that, we just bake it, just in the oven, 180 for 10 minutes. We just want to get a little bit caramelized, golden brown.
Okay.
And then we're going to start with our filling.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. This is one of the parts that I'm excited about.
Yes.
Making the lemony side of the lemon meringue pie. What do we do?
Exactly. So what you can do is you can close that for us, first of all.
Ta-da.
Thank you.
And
Turn it on.
what is in
Yes.
here?
So that is condensed milk. So this is the base of what we're going to work with. And then we're going to put in here our whole bowl of lemon
wow,
juice.
that is a lot of lemon juice. Why so much?
Because we wanted to cut the sweetness. I think the best thing is that you've got the crust, you've got the meringue, super sweet, and you want this to have quite a punch.
Okay, cool.
So we're going to put that in.
Oh, condensed milk is my favorite thing. Honestly, I'm not even joking. I go to the store with my parents when I was young. Used to go to the store with my parents when I was young, and I still do it to this day. But I go to buy the cans and I punch holes in either end, and I literally eat it like that. It's the most terrible thing, I think, for my health, but for my mental health, it's great.
It's good for the soul. You got to
Yes.
indulge sometime.
I had no idea that lemon meringue pies have got so much condensed milk in it.
Yes, it's literally the base of the lemon pie.
Ah.
You can put that in for me.
Cool. So you got 4 eggs in here?
Yes.
Just the yolks?
Yeah, we separated the eggs because we're going to use the egg whites for the top.
Oh, I see.
So now putting zest in as well. Also quite a fair amount.
Sure.
Because that adds to the flavor as well.
You really are making this a lemony
Yes.
lemon pie. Oh, yum.
Okay.
And I see also, just by the way, a little tip, if you guys can see, our machine, we got it on just past halfway. So it must be on the full blast beating, because I think then you're going to start...
You're going to be full of mixture, basically.
Okay, basically.
Yeah.
So we're trying to keep it on like a medium so it doesn't like splash out of there.
Yes.
All right, are we done?
Yes. Okay, you can take that out for us.
Okay. Just lift these things up. This is always one of those things where I get into trouble for because I always make the biggest mess. But, I'll
But
try and
that you
scoop
have
that off.
to you have to enjoy it as well. So mess is not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay.
So you just
She
pour
gave
that
me
in.
permission, Mum. I've got permission, Mum. There we go. Oh, that looks amazing. It's the perfect amount.
I know, that's the best thing.
Okay.
So you put it on like that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bake it. So we just want to set it.
Okay.
So again, 180, 10 minutes.
And it'll be ready to go.
Yes.
Cool, but we've kind of done another one so we can show everyone the rest of those steps because I want to show you how easy this pie is to make. So that basic idea obviously is we wanted to get it to looking like this point. You'll kind of brown the base that you put it in
Yes.
and the tart outside will firm up a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So now I've got another trick for you.
Yay!
You can pass us the maizena and the syrup, please.
Cool, oops. Oh, and everything else at the same time.
Of course.
There's the maizena.
Thank
Here's a
you.
sieve for you.
Okay, so obviously you can see here when you shake it, it is set.
Yes.
But I don't want these meringues to interfere with our set, beautiful lemony layer.
Oh.
So what I do is I just put a little bit of maizena in here,
Oh,
like
I see
that.
what you're doing here. I'm getting a sense you're creating like a little barrier between the
Oh,
two.
yes.
Look at you. These are really nice tips you're giving on the show today.
So it makes it foolproof. That's the thing. You want it to come out perfect every time.
Okay, amazing.
Just gonna put that there.
Oh, now everyone's worst nightmare, making meringue. So I'm looking forward to seeing how you got yours to look so good.
Do you know what the thing is? You need to use super fine caster sugar. That's the best thing. I like to use this one.
Okay.
And I think it's so amazing.
Yeah, Salati Castaneau is always amazing to use because it's one of the ones you keep in the cupboard. Has so many uses that you can use at home, and particularly for desserts like this.
Will you
Dissolves
pass me
nicely.
this spatula, please?
Sure, I can. Do you want this one?
Yes, please.
There you go.
Okay, so you're gonna do it to stiff beak. You can see here.
Okay,
do you want to see the? Do you want to see the test?
Just to prove it. What's the test?
Okay, just stand straight.
I don't
move.
know if I trust you.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Stand
Okay, all right. Whew, okay, I've never been nervous on live TV before. This is the first time I think I've actually been nervous. Joking. Okay, cool. So we know it's stiff.
Okay, so we're just gonna mix that, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put this on top of our lemony layer. You can see there, as you put it, it's not going anywhere. It's not messing anything.
Around.
So that's our maizena.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I like it to look nice and rustic. So you don't have to do anything that's too perfect. If you want to, you can pipe it.
Yes.
The other thing is you don't have to get it to the edge because it will spread out when it cooks.
Okay, cool. I see what you're saying. Okay, cool. And I just want to quickly show me how to make those little mountains because we have got to get to Dineo, and I'd love to hear more from her. So
Okay, let's
will you
do
just
that.
show me more of how to make those little
So you
mountains?
literally just use your spatula.
I see.
Like that.
And it'll come out looking delicious and tasting super lemony and delicious as well. Chiara, always another great one. Oh, we almost forgot one ingredient.
The most
Sesame
important
seeds.
thing.
Okay,
Yes.
what do I just do? Sprinkle these on top?
Sprinkle them on, but don't get them on the lemon. Only the meringue. Okay,
Just the
Danilo?
meringue. Okay.
Yes.
I'll let you do the rest of those to make sure that I don't mess it up because I probably will. You can find the recipe on our website, afternoonexpress.co.za. It's called the lemon meringue pie, the lemony meringue pie, which you guys can make at home. The shopping list is also available for you over there. We've got Dineo standing by on the couch.
I knew that men were dogs, all of them.
Something about you tells me that you're the type to go for exactly what she wants.
Gosh, where do they get these? An onslaught of pathetic lines.
Yo, one size fits all.
Actually, I have a few questions for you before you propose to her.
Propose.
When are you free to meet her parents? They're filthy rich, by the way. No, what? Keep walking, dog.
Just cautious.
Or maybe it's being deceived.
Yeah, right. Chicken.
Do you think every single man out there is out to get with you?
Are you saying you don't?
That looks absolutely brilliant. In fact, Bonnie and I have actually booked a date. We're going together to go and watch your film.
Can I have a selfie?
Yeah,
As
of course, definitely. It just looks like something so fresh and modern.
Yeah.
That must have been great. How did you audition for the role, firstly, for Gugu?
I had been auditioning for Gugu since 2011.
What? Why was the process so long?
Sure. There was a whole other cast. The movie was still called Golden Highway back then. They had cast somebody else as Gugu. I was auditioning for Thando Tabeta's role, and that's the role of Anna. And then the audition process sort of whittled down, and they went quiet. And I thought, one of those movies that just didn't happen. 2014, they call, say they're auditioning again. And I'm like, okay, I guess we'll see if you guys will make this movie. They audition, keep quiet. Come back to me around July, August. And they say, well, while I was auditioning prior, when they had called early in the year, they said, we want you to audition for the lead this time. And I was like, me? Okay. Yes. So at the time, I was like, look, let me just try it and see what happens. And when they called around July, August to say, we want you to play the role, I was shocked off my rocker. I couldn't believe that they said they wanted me to carry this entire film as a lead.
Amazing.
So yeah, and I was also on the brink of giving up because, to do small parts sometimes too many times leaves you in a space where you think you're just not good enough.
Yeah.
So I was on the brink of quitting, and when that happened, it was just God's timing, and I was like, okay.
It really is difficult being an actress because you do sometimes take things personally, especially having to go for so many auditions and get so many knocks.
Yeah.
With this process, had you already read the script and you knew you had a connection to Gugu already?
I hadn't read the script at all. We had a script reading after they had cast everyone.
Okay.
So I found out everything as we were all reading, like, she goes through this? Okay, cool. But I knew very, very little about Gugu, but I think, the character brief that they had given was always sort of easy to access because so many women around the world are going through that experience of love isn't working out for them, men are dogging them, they're done with men, they're independent and that's it.
Exactly.
So when I had to go in, I had to reference half the world.
Yeah, you had a lot to work with.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's your process? I mean, how do you find a connection to, like, within that? I mean, you said you had so many references.
Yeah.
But for you personally, do you draw from your own personal experience as well?
You know, I find it makes it more difficult for you to draw from personal experience because you want to recreate the emotion. And there's sort of a block with things we've left in the past. You don't want to access those sort of things again because it took so much out of you to get over those things.
Yeah, and
so
it makes you a little bit vulnerable, a bit exposed.
Yes, and you'd rather be vulnerable about a new experience. You'd rather recreate it, play towards the truth, in my opinion. So I'm always going to my acting coach. I always if I get a role, I pick up the phone and go, Leroy, I need you. I need to find this person. I don't know them yet, so help me find this person. It's never, for me, it's never a one-man sport. It's always teamwork makes the dream work. Whether it's cast and crew, whether it's me and my acting coach, whether it's me and my director, it's always just everybody has to help you find this world, this person in their world as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now tell us about who Gugu is and tell us where she fits into the world and a bit about the movie as well. As much as you can tell us.
As much
without giving away the plot too much.
I'm gonna try. Gugu is 25. Got jilted on an island by a guy that she loved. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, he married her for her virginity. And she came back.
Okay.
Done with the world, done with men, and, you know, was sort of carrying herself like, I don't need anybody. The only person she shows affection to is her grandmother. As she goes along, unintentionally, she gets into a crossroads where she has to pick between these two guys. Who's for a lifetime, who's for a season. But you're going to have to go to the film to know who she chooses.
Oh, that's amazing. Who's for a lifetime, who's for a season?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't majority of women get that like once a week.
Yes.
Now, the cast is absolutely amazing. I think Tapelo,
Yes.
Boiti,
Yes.
Tando Tabudi.
Yes.
I mean, what was it like working with all of them?
This is the benchmark for me in terms of cast crew experiences.
Yeah.
We'd all come there with a common goal. We'd never have that thing of, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk today. Everybody, because you find that on some sets where you're going to be hello in the morning to someone and they're just going to look at you like, don't. So, you know, it was beautiful to walk onto set and everybody's just ready to go. Everybody's ready to create this film. We always had the common goal of making people laugh, making people feel, making people, you know, sort of learn about themselves and love and take accountability. Because a lot of the time when relationships happen, people go, you wronged me, you dogged me,
Exactly.
I'm not trying to look back. But actually, this film teaches people how much responsibility you need to take for yourself as an individual first before you place all your cards in someone else's lap.
Yeah.
So we enjoyed ourselves thoroughly. I mean, I don't know if you, we didn't play it that far, but there's a part in the trailer with Motlatsi Mafatsi of Isidingo.
Yeah.
And it took me take after take after take to shoot that scene, Jeannie, because he's so funny. I was like, wait, okay, I'm back. We took about 4 takes before we were just like, okay, it's in the can. Because everybody would get on that set and there'd be just this common energy of, let's make art, let's make something entertaining.
Beautiful. Now, you'd worked with Tapelo before, so
Yes.
you already had that relationship.
Yeah, I'd worked with Tapelo on his own film back then when, you know, he was putting on his producer hat. So I wasn't necessarily acting alongside him back then. This was the first time we'd acted alongside each other.
Amazing.
Yeah, so he's awesome,
He
man.
is so great.
He
We've had him here before as well. He's great.
Yeah, he came through so supportive, you know, always right there with me. And you'll see there's a bit of a tango between Gugu and Dumile. So, you know, they're always challenging each other, and I really like that because, yeah, I guess that's a little bit of inclusion I have because I always, back then when I first met Taps, I'd always challenge him, you know, that this is not the same female experience you have with every other female. I'm going to question you. I'm going to probe you. So I guess that's the nature of mine and Taps' relationship.
I love you. I'm dying to watch the film. Thank you so much for coming and chatting to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'll take a selfie with Bonnie and I when we go on our movie date. If you haven't already checked out the movie, we suggest you go now. Mrs. Right Guy at selected cinemas nationwide. After the break, we're joined by another hot South African talent, the new presenter on SABC3's Mela, Carishma Basday. Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, as of January this year, the contemporary Eastern lifestyle show Mela on SABC3 welcomed a brand new member to the family. She's also a professional actress, model and dancer who's been dancing since the age of 4, and we're lucky enough to have her in our loft today. Please welcome Carishma Basday. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, how exciting. I think Mela started off on SABC2 and now it's on SABC3.
It was the former Eastern Mosaic that is now revamped and zhuzhed up into a kind of sexier, stylish version of Mela.
Okay, well, tell us about the show. What is it about?
Well, the show basically showcases young, vibrant, up-and-coming Indian people, people that love the Indian culture, that love to embrace the Eastern influences in their lives, a lot of Eastern cooking involved in it. It's basically a lifestyle show, surrounding everything to do with Oriental.
Amazing. And what was your audition process like? Had you always wanted to be on the show?
Well, having grown up watching the former Eastern Mosaic, and it was kind of the only thing on TV that showcased Indian culture, and I'm so proud of my Indian heritage, and I love everything to do with Indian culture. So when the opportunity came about for me to be a presenter on Mela, I was like, yes, 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 this was going to be amazing. I felt like it was such great synergy for my brand and my life and what I wanted to do.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I am absolutely, I mean, it's what a great industry to be in. Throughout my career, I always had girls coming up to me saying, you literally have the best job in the world. And I really feel so. So I want to know about some of your highlights. What have been your magic moments where you go, oh, I need to pinch myself. This is amazing.
It's been such an amazing roller coaster ride, if I have to be honest about it. There's been some inserts when I've been like thrown into the deep end. I got to feed some monitor lizards. The other day, some raw eggs, which was so cool. I'm such a big animal person, so that was amazing for me. I've got to meet some really interesting people. I've just interviewed Ahmed Hassim, who was a shark attack victim. I love sharks and was so amazing.
You were a shark attack victim?
No, Ahmed Hassim.
Okay.
Please no, I love sharks.
He's a shark attack victim.
Yes, so it was so wonderful to meet someone so inspirational and listen to his story and see how he's overcome all the challenges in his life. So that was really an amazing highlight, and hopefully I'll get to travel soon with Mela, and that's one of my big dreams, to be able to travel for work.
You want to travel with Mela, but are you traveling enough in your own private life? Because you've married a pilot.
I have indeed. I'm a very, very blessed girl in so many ways, Jeannie. I can't even begin to tell you. My husband is a beautiful French helicopter pilot. He currently works in the DRC. So unfortunately, he's 6 weeks away and 6 weeks at home. But when he's home, he's home. And we are free to travel. We often travel for a month at a time. So we really get to immerse ourselves in the culture of the place that we go to, which is unbelievable. It is the only way I love to travel. I've been to the DRC, so we fly the helicopter back. I'm actually going to in December to go up with him. We're going to see some gorillas again.
Where are you accessing? Are you going through
the DRC?
Congo?
Yeah, through the DRC.
It's incredible. I've done that. It's the best thing in the
world.
world.
It's amazing. We did it 2 years ago, and we're going back, and this time we're going to the Virunga National Park, so I'm very, very excited about that. And then we fly the helicopter through Tanzania, Rwanda, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and back into South Africa. And it's just, to get to know Africa on that level, on such a personal and intimate level, I feel is just something out of this world.
No, that's absolutely magic. But I can tell you, with having 6 weeks on and 6 weeks off with your husband, the 6 weeks that you've got off, you're going to be so busy filming because it is quite an intense schedule, I'm sure.
Exactly, and I love it. I love that I can be so busy and on the go, and time flies by, and then he's home, and I'm like, okay, now I try to take a bit of time off. But in our industry, you have to say yes when the opportunity comes knocking. You've got to just be like, yes, I will be there and I will do it. So but it's wonderful. But I'm getting to take some time off now. On Friday, I head off to Greece and France for a month.
For a holiday?
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yes.
Where about are you going?
A friend of mine's just moved to Ithaca, so we're going to do a bit of Athens, a bit of Kefalonia, and then Ithaca for a few days with her, and then obviously Paris, and my in-laws live in Colmar at the moment, so we're going to go explore there.
Oh, well, your life is just heavenly right now. But But let's go back to early days. I think it started off, Alfie, when you were 4 years old, and you obviously had a great talent for dance, and then you wanted to explore that a little bit.
Yes.
So much so that it took you to Chicago.
Well, it did. Well, my parents were Rotarians. First of all, my mum, I think, I was such a tomboy.
Yeah.
When I was younger, and I was always running around, dirt in my hair, everything. And my mum, I think, always wanted like a typical little girl. So she enrolled me in some ballet classes, and that's where it all started. But when you're 4 and you're doing ballet, it's very boring. It's point flex, and that's about where it ends. And there was this amazing modern dance hip-hop class going on next door, and I was like, Mum, I really, really want to do this.
Yeah, that was more your
yes.
scene.
And she was like, okay, but you've got to stick with the ballet. And I hated her, I think, back then, but now I love her to death because ballet has formed the foundation for not just my dance, but my career. It just gives you that ultimate discipline.
Totally.
That you need. And then just found that I loved being on the stage and loved the limelight. And so it just built on from there. And then I was in high school. I had an amazing drama teacher who just made me believe that I can actually have a career in this industry. And my parents were then Rotarians, which led me to become a Rotary exchange student, which is how I actually went to the States.
That is incredible.
And lived in Chicago. And
so is that standard 9, grade 11, I think you started an exchange program.
I actually went after matric.
Oh, exciting.
Yes, because it was Southern Hemisphere and Northern Hemisphere, so I could wait till I'd finished school and then join.
Works out better that way.
I think so as well. It was kind of could have schooling behind me and then work on everything else that I wanted to achieve going forward, and had so many opportunities present itself to me. I was a journalist for a newspaper, got to work with Hurricane Katrina victims. I was in a play Les Miserables, danced in a show. It was just amazing.
Wow, thank you so much for chatting to us. This girl has got it going on. We're going to have you, we're going to feed you some of that lemon tart.
I cannot wait.
Now make sure you celebrate Indian culture and catch Karishma Sundays on Mela at 1:30 on SABC3. I can't wait to watch you on TV. After the break, it's time for Winner Home on Afternoon Express, so stay right where you are.
It's my favorite time of the afternoon. Welcome back. It's time for Winner Home on Afternoon Express, the show where you stand a chance to win an apartment on the Valdevie estate with more than 3 million rand. Now, beautiful, fabulous homes always grab the attention of everybody around you. And this afternoon, we are lucky enough to have an architect behind just such a house located on the stunning Pearl Valley, in the stunning Pearl Valley. Architect Ben Kotlowitz, the mastermind behind the breathtaking piece of property, is here to share his thoughts on the home and the design behind it and give our Winner Home contestants some advice when it comes to designing on a beautiful estate like that. Welcome to our loft, Ben.
Thanks so much.
It's an honor to have you here. Let's talk about this home in Pearl Valley, because that was a project of note. Wow.
Yeah, it really was. The inspiration, of course, was the site, which was just a magnificent 1,300 square metre site, which was south entry, north facing, and looked over the first hole of the golf course and out to basically the golf club.
Sure.
And it's surrounded by these most amazing Franschhoek mountains, and it's just the most incredible canvas to build a house on.
Yeah.
So we were really inspired, and we had a great brief given to us by the owner, which was to create an entertainer's home, which is
could welcome guests. It was inviting, it was interesting. Exactly. I think I always just have a big sigh when I interview all of these beautiful architects who have done incredible work around the country, because you guys have always got this creative eye and it always looks so brilliant on the outside once a project's done. But I want to sneak peek into the behind the scenes. Right. There must have been so many challenges going into designing houses like that. I mean, what were some of those challenges that you faced and some of the things that went brilliantly well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you work on a golf estate, you have the estate guidelines, which kind of set the parameters in which you have to design the house. So in this instance, we had to have a house with pitched roofs, and we also wanted to, at the same time, bring in the contemporary elements. So it was kind of that juxtaposition of playing off the traditional and the new and creating something that was really special.
Yeah, so there are some parameters put in place. So you almost are working within a whole, trying to capture everyone's sort of obligations and everyone's expectations of the building itself and bring those together in a beautifully slick and new and innovative way, which I'm sure is quite interesting. But that area is growing so much. Everyone's so excited about it. What is it about a sort of estate living and living in that particular area that has got people so excited? And what does that mean for an architect trying to design there?
I think the key word here is openness, and because it's on a security estate, you have this kind of seamless flow from inside to outside. And as an architect, you don't need to worry about things like burglar bars and shutters and all those merry things which typically are not so nice to look at.
Yeah.
So we're able to create something that you can open out fully and really enjoy the outdoors without worrying about the security aspects.
Oh, that's so exciting, actually, because I know obviously our home at the moment for Winter Home is the Val de Vie estate, and it's absolutely beautiful. That whole area is thriving, but our contestants, I think, are going to be under a lot of pressure to make sure that they are, number one, confining to those rules, because they're all quite young, and I think have got these big out-the-box ideas, but need to confine those into what it is that they're designing for. So let's just talk a little bit about where you get your inspiration from when you see a project. Where do you start? Do you first start with the plan? Do you start with the estate? Where do you begin and get this inspiration from?
I think we like to use the idea of understanding design. So we really try and understand, firstly, what the client wants. You know, what is the brief? How big is the house? What are the relationships between the rooms, etc. And then we try and really understand the site, which way the sun rises and sets, the winds in the area, the views, the slope on the land, all those kinds of things inform our design. And then we kind of synthesize it all and come up with hopefully something that's unique and really relates to both the site and to the client's needs and desires.
Sure. So our contestants obviously are busy working on their house at the moment. They're moving into their well, I think they're finishing off. They finished off their guest bedroom and are working on some other projects now. But they've got to get a lot of inspiration for this process because, like I mentioned, I think they're struggling to find that balance between, hey, we're producing a home for Val de Vie, but hey, I've also got these amazing big ideas to go about. So please give us some practical tips for our contestants when it comes to designing on an estate like Val de Vie.
I think what I would say to them is keep it clean, keep the ideas bold and strong, and don't overcomplicate things. I think there's that saying, less is more, and that really applies to design. The best design is timeless because it's kind of not overdone. It's beautifully simple. So keep it beautifully simple and it'll be outstanding is what I would say. The other little bit of advice I would give is not to complicate things with too many materials. Keep your palette also kind of restrained and use those materials in different ways rather than putting a whole lot of different materials together.
Yeah, that's some very, very good advice. And finally, obviously, for the viewers, one of them is going to get to win a beautiful home in that area, which is stunning. In terms of trying to look out for, you know, why it's an investment piece or not, I mean, what is the pull towards living outside of a city centre like that?
I think, you know, it's the connection to nature, it's the wide open spaces, it's the feeling of not being in a row of suburban houses, and you have that real flow that we've spoken about before that is enabled by living on an estate.
So we're in for an absolute treat, I think, this season. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge and your wisdom. Hope our contestants are taking it to heart.
Only a pleasure.
Thank you. We've got Ben with us in the studio with us today. Jeannie's on standby.
Thanks, Danilo. Now, a few weeks back, we ran a competition where you could win a luxury toaster and kettle from Smeg. Well, it's time to announce the winner of that competition. So, congratulations to Keroom Arif from Cape Town. Your breakfast and morning coffee will never be the same. That's actually a very gorgeous toaster and kettle. Now, we also ran a competition where you could win a Smeg retro stand mixer worth over 7,000 Rand. And the entries for that are closed, but we'll be announcing the winner soon on the show. Now, we have a competition to announce. From today, you can vote for your favorite guest bedroom by simply visiting privateproperty.co.za. Cast your vote and you stand a chance to win paint from Plascon to the value of 5,000 Rand. You will also be automatically entered into the grand prize draw where you could win an apartment at Val de Vie valued at over 3 million Rand. Votes close on Thursday, the 16th of June. Remember that, Thursday, the 16th of June, so don't leave it too late. Danilo's on the couch now with our next guest.
Estate living is not only a sought-after way of living, but has become quite popular, and it generally comes with a lot of safety. We have Tim Akinnusi with us in the loft, who's the head of sales and client value management at Nedbank Home Loans, to help guide us through buying into estate living. Welcome back, Tim.
Thank you.
So, estate living has become quite appealing. Why is that?
Yes, I think over the last 10 to 15 years, you've seen a lot more developers build homes in a clustered fashion. So as a result of that, it's become very appealing for new entrants into the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will choose a home in an estate as their secondary or primary home. Is this financial or is it more a lifestyle choice?
I think it's both. From a financial standpoint, being able to buy into an estate, especially a brand new one, you get to be spared the cost of transfer cost and registration costs. So it's a bundle option that people would then buy into. From a lifestyle standpoint, you're finding more and more entrants into the home loan or housing market, in essence. Would be choosing estate living as the preferred option to go into.
Yeah, and one of the benefits of living in an estate is feeling like you're part of a community, and I'm sure among many other benefits. What are some of the challenges of living in an estate?
So there are some pros and cons with it, and I think from the challenges side of it, I would say that being in an estate, you need to contend with the fact that you are in a community and you're part of a community. So a lot of the times you are not very flexible in terms of how you want to design your house because it's all part of a uniform approach to doing things. You would also be subjected to levy costs that are being set by the body corporate, which you as a homeowner would be part of. So again, that's an added cost that you would need to factor into your monthly expenses. Thirdly, there are a lot more rules that you need to abide by because you're now part of a community. So a lot less of an opportunity to kind of set your own standards, etc.
Yeah. So Tim, as a bank, do you have a bias towards estate living or standalone homes?
It's a good question, Bonnie. We absolutely don't have a bias. If you choose to buy in an estate or in a standalone environment, we'll be proud to finance your home, provided that the valuations are correct in terms of the value of the place and that you can afford it. So the question of whether or not you want to live in a standalone or an estate is really down to your individual personal preference in terms of the things that are important to you as a homeowner.
Oh, thank you so much, Tim. That was very insightful. So estate living is exciting and offers a lifestyle that is both enjoyable and safe. You can get all the information you might need to make this move. For more information, visit www.nedbank.co.za/home loans for more information.
So keep your eyes out on Afternoon Express every weekday as our 3 design contestants gradually transform 3 properties at Veldevie Estate using finishes provided by Caesarstone and Plascon. Judging their work are the team from Arc Interiors, Anne Roosevelt from Plascon and Simon Bray from Private Property. Winner Home is proudly brought to you by Private Property in proud association with Nedbank. We'll be right back after this.
A warm welcome back to Afternoon Express. I love giving you guys things, and Hellmann's, the world's best mayonnaise, wants you to join them in an unmissable, mouth-watering experience where you and a friend will be treated to a burger-making masterclass by Afternoon Express's very own Clem Pedro, where he will prove that a burger just isn't a burger without that unmistakably smooth texture and rich, creamy taste of Hellmann's. Now, following the masterclass, you will test out your burger-making skills at the Hellmann's #RockYourBurger food truck while it's on its national tour, where you will create your own signature Hellmann's burger, as well as show off your very own selfie bun. Now, that's right, your face on a burger bun. It's absolutely hilarious and awesome. It's absolutely rock star too. Now, we already have our first winner from yesterday. Congratulations to Kagiso Steven Morare for his spinach stuffed chicken breast recipe using Hellmann's with spinach, feta cheese, and garlic. Sounds super delicious, man. Thanks for submitting that one. To enter your one, make sure you go to the competition on our Facebook page, find the daily Hellmann's post, and tell us what's your signature dish featuring the world's best mayonnaise, Hellmann's. It's as simple as that, and you could be a winner. Please note that this competition is only available to viewers living in the Johannesburg area. T's and C's apply and can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za. So get entering and tell us how you #RockYourBurger with Hellmann's and Afternoon Express. So we like feeding you things on Afternoon Express. We also like feeding our guests too.
And we're about to, with literally the most delicious lemon meringue tart ever. Chiara, you are a legend. And I'm actually watching you slice each slice with such perfection.
It's so delicate. You have to be so...
salivating on
I know. Can I help you? Here,
Yes,
pass me your plate.
Please, thank you.
I mean, this is amazing.
Can I just tell you, I've never seen someone so protective over their own lemon meringue pie as she was. In the ad break, while I was busy trying to pick off a bit of the meringue, she's like, no, you will not mess up my mountains.
Well, that's because it's you, because I was allowed to pick off the Can I cut you a slice? This is absolutely sensational. You must be like the favorite person in your family.
I am, but don't tell my brother that. He'll get very upset.
And funny enough, her brother's name is also a Danilo.
Yes.
Wow.
Really?
So, yeah. So
That's so weird, because you're definitely not the favorite person.
Oh, Jeannie.
No, this is absolutely amazing.
Can I ask why the sesame seeds?
I had to make it different. I was like, I've been making it for so many years the same way. I was like, I have to add some pizzazz.
He's going to tell you there is actually a practical reason. I would love to, but he's going to tell you the real practical reason is because I find lemon meringues quite sour, and I also find the meringue itself sweet. So when you toast the sesame seeds, it adds like a almost nuttiness to it. Earthiness. Let's use big words.
Yes.
Earthiness.
Okay, kids, now I'm getting stuck.
Yes, great.
Well, we're going to get stuck into this absolutely bit of deliciousness. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, good night and happy eating.
Bye.
Bye.
Yummy.
Oh my goodness.
Coming up tomorrow on Afternoon Express, we chat to the CEO of Accelerate Cape Town, a business leadership organization which aims to connect business and government for economic growth. And we take a look at what junk status means for our economy and the average person.
The hottest address on TV is Winner Home on Afternoon Express. Proudly brought to you by Private Property in association with Nedbank.
Another feel-good production.
Hi YouTubers, thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to us. Join the Afternoon Express family by subscribing to our channel right here. And we'll keep you up to date with all our recipes and of course our fabulous episodes. Also, feel free to leave a comment and share this video. We do love it when you express yourself.